Hi there, welcome to this devotion. The other day I went for a medical at work and they were testing my hearing, and they put me in this soundproof booth and they had these huge headphones that they put on me. I don't know if you've been in one of these booths before, but the silence is quite unsettling. Nothing is heard, it doesn't even echo, it's like an unnatural sound. Then these headphones, they put on these beeps at different frequencies, and the volume just fades and fades with each beep that you hear. And the idea is that they give you a control and you click the control every time you hear the beep, and they test your hearing as to how well you can hear. Well, needless to say, I focused like crazy and I sat and I listened to every single beep, and I can tell you I passed, and I was told my hearing is very good, but there's some I know that they wouldn't necessarily agree with me. Anyway, our home group, we are working our way through the book of Genesis, and we have come to the story about a lady by the name of Hagar. She's an Egyptian slave, and she's run away from her masters, and because she's been seriously mistreated. Hagar finds herself in the desert when she hears from God. She realizes that God has seen her suffering and that God has seen her plight, and she hasn't gone unnoticed. And after speaking words of comfort to her, God tells her to go back to her masters. And because God heard her crying and saw her suffering, she refers to God as El Roi. You are the God who sees. God who saw her tears, God who saw her being mistreated, God who saw her innocence. And even if you ever get to read Genesis chapter 16, you can't help but feel Hagar's plight. And you can't help but feel sorry and pity for this poor girl as she goes back to her masters. But what stopped me in my tracks with this reading is where my train of thought went. And I was thinking along the lines of, when last did you hear God speaking into your life? If you say no, God's not speaking into my life, or why do you think that is? Could it be that God is speaking into your life, but you're not hearing? In the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus often ends a teaching with the saying, "Those who have ears, let them hear." Well, everyone there had ears and they all heard. So Jesus was speaking about something else. I believe that Jesus was talking about hearing on a deeper level. I believe that Jesus was talking about hearing with depth, hearing with your soul, hearing El Roi, hearing the all-seeing God, hearing God in our innermost being. And the only way we get to hear God is through a relationship. The only way we can get to hear God speaking into our lives is when we have those quiet times with God, when we meditate on God, and when we pray to God, and when we speak to God. And don't be surprised that as you start doing that more and more frequently, you actually get to hear God. I honestly hope that your quiet time and your meditation and your relationship with God will lead you to a place where you hear the all-seeing God speak to you, where you hear El Roi into your life. Until we meet again, God bless.